picture this. You're having some friends over to watch the big game. Everyone's having a good time.
Uh-huh.
And then a couple days later, you find out that those same friends, they froze to death in your backyard.
Oh, wow.
Sounds crazy, right? That's the case we're diving into today, and it is full of twists and turns and questions that just don't seem to go away.
It's a really tragic story, and, you really wonder what happened.
Yeah.
And, today we're pulling from a true crime podcast. They interviewed the family members and lawyers, and we also have some news reports that try to kind of put it all together.
Right.
So
we're in Kansas City, January 7th, 2025, and we have three friends, David Harrington, Ricky Johnson, and Clayton McKinney.
okay.
And they're watching the Chiefs game at their buddy Jordan Willis's house.
Right.
So it sounds like a pretty normal Sunday, right?
Absolutely, just friends getting together.
Yeah.
But then 2 days later,
Yeah.
January 9th, these three men, they're found dead in Jordan's backyard.
And that's where things get a little, I don't know, suspicious.
Right.
The initial police reports, they say no foul play,
Okay.
suggesting that they died from the cold.
Hmm.
But the families, they're not really buying it.
Yeah, and they have some pretty compelling arguments to be skeptical.
Right.
Like the temperatures weren't that extreme. It wasn't like a deep freeze or anything.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah.
Especially since Jordan is saying that he was asleep the whole time.
Right.
Had no idea his friends were even out in the backyard.
Uh-huh. And that's a big red flag for the families.
Yeah.
If he was home, how could he not have noticed them?
For 2 whole days.
Yeah. And why are their cars still there?
Exactly.
Like, there's just so many questions.
So to add to all this, Jordan's lawyer comes out and says that Jordan left the house sporadically
Okay.
during those 2 days,
Hmm.
but then later clarifies that, he just meant that he left his bedroom, not the property. So, it's a small detail, but
Yeah, it changes the whole story.
it really does.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing.
What's that?
The lawyer reveals that there was a 5th person at this get-together,
Oh, wow.
which, contradicts Jordan's initial statement that he was alone and asleep.
Right. It seems like the story changes with every new bit of information.
Yeah, and this 5th person, his story is completely different than Jordan's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says that he left around midnight
Okay.
and that all 4 of them, all 4 men, were still alive and watching Jeopardy.
That's a strange detail, isn't it?
It's very strange.
Like watching Jeopardy and then hours later,
yeah.
3 of them are dead.
Yeah, it's like, what happened in those couple hours?
Exactly. It
Yeah.
really makes you wonder.
And then the 5th person's lawyer kind of throws a wrench into things.
Oh, how so?
So he's saying that his client was getting texts
Hmm.
asking about the missing men.
Okay.
So basically, implying that Jordan should have been getting these texts too if his phone was on.
Right. That really challenges his whole story. And, when you take a step back and look at it all, it starts to seem like, maybe it's not just an accident.
Yeah, what makes you say that?
Well, the families have been pretty outspoken,
Right.
about their suspicions, I guess.
Right.
I think one father even said something like, my son would never just wander off and fall asleep in the cold.
Right.
Something happened that night, and we need to know the truth.
Yeah.
And, you can feel that grief
Yeah.
mixed with determination.
Powerful.
It is. And then on top of that, you have these stories that just don't add up.
Right.
And that just adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah, it makes you think, like, if he was asleep,
Right?
would he not have heard his friends leave?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't see them, would he not have heard their cars?
Or their voices, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus the cars were still there.
Right. Like, that's a clue right there.
It's a big clue.
Yeah.
It's almost like maybe there's something more going on here.
Right. Maybe it's not what it seems.
And then, we're waiting on the toxicology reports.
Right.
But just forensically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
if they died from exposure, wouldn't there be signs of hypothermia?
Well, yeah. And wouldn't they have tried to find some kind of shelter?
Right. Or get help.
Exactly. Yeah.
You would think.
You would think. And wouldn't their bodies show some signs of that struggle?
Yeah, you think so.
Yeah. Like investigators will be looking for,
Right.
the position of the bodies.
Uh-huh.
Were there any injuries? What about their clothes?
Right.
That could tell us a lot.
It's like we're missing those puzzle pieces.
Exactly.
And the families deserve answers.
They do.
And right now, it seems like the truth is just getting further and further away.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking,
It is.
to think about these families who are waiting for answers
Right.
and wondering what really happened. Yeah, it's just, this case, I think it resonates with people because it's something we all fear, right?
Yeah.
The unexpected loss.
Uh-huh.
And then when you add the mystery,
Exactly.
it's a parent's worst nightmare.
That really is, and not having those answers just makes it so much harder.
Exactly. And we're trying to understand, how could this happen?
Right.
How could 3 healthy men just freeze to death
Yeah.
in a, a place they thought was safe?
Yeah.
It makes you question everything.
You know what's crazy to me? It's how quickly this all changed. I mean, it started as friends watching a football game.
Right. Normal Sunday.
And then within a couple days, it's this huge mystery.
Right. It's like it really shows you that things aren't always what they seem.
Exactly.
I mean, we rely on people to tell the truth,
Mm.
and we think those closest to us would never lie.
Right.
But, memory's a funny thing.
It really is.
And even people with, good intentions
Yeah.
might not have the whole story.
So it makes you think, like, what if this wasn't just an accident?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something investigators are going to look at.
Sure.
Was there a fight? Did someone panic?
Uh-huh.
We just don't know yet.
It's like we're just waiting for those answers.
Waiting for the toxicology reports.
Right. More evidence?
Maybe something new comes up in the investigation.
Yeah, something that just, helps us figure this out.
Exactly.
It's been a real eye-opener for me, this case.
Yeah, me too.
It just shows you that things aren't always as they seem.
And it's important to think critically,
Right.
question what we're told,
Yeah.
Because sometimes, even when it seems like we have all the evidence,
Mhm.
the truth is still out there.
And for everyone listening, we hope this has made you think a little differently
Yeah.
with the information that's out there.
And remember, every story has different sides.
Exactly.
It's our job to,
Dig deeper.
ask those tough questions.
And form our own conclusions.
Exactly.
This case, it's a reminder that finding the truth, well, it can be a really tough journey.
It can be, but like we've seen today,
Right.
sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination.
So what stands out to you about this case? What are you thinking? Share your thoughts and observations with us, and if you have any questions about this case, please let us know.